Hey there. Welcome back, babes. It's been a minute. I'm your host, Laura, here. And I took a hiatus. I thought it was going to be a short break. And then honestly, I was just really busy this summer enjoying the beautiful San Diego weather and just, having a good time. A lot's happened since I last put up an episode. We've had Adult Worlds, Masters Worlds, CJI2. Travis and Taylor got engaged. Let me tell you what a big event that was for me. But anyway, I did record some episodes before I took a break, and now I'm back actively recording as well. So this week's episode I recorded a few months ago. My guest is Erika, who is fascinating. She is a mother, a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu purple belt. She's a practitioner of Peruvian plant medicine, especially cacao, which we talk about during our interview. She lives in Scotland with her husband and children, and they do retreats in Peru. It's all really fascinating to hear about the intersection between jiu-jitsu and plant medicine and cacao. And I will drop her information, including her website, in the show notes in case you want to get in contact with her, find out more, see what she and her husband have to offer. So with that, here is my interview. Thank you. Hello. We're here with Erika. Erika, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you.
We have a bit of a time difference. I'm in California. Where are you at?
I'm in Scotland, United
Okay.
Kingdom.
Yes.
So different timetables for sure.
Yeah, so it's Sunday morning here, Sunday evening for you.
Literally, yeah. Turning to 6, yeah.
Do you want to take a moment and introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm originally from Peru. Some people know as a Paddington bear because some people don't even know where is Peru. But yeah, from South America, living in Scotland for over 15 years and mom of 2, doing my holistic practices that I love to do, rooted in my own culture. And I love practicing jiu-jitsu and other sports. But yeah, I think this is one of the biggest sports that anchor me really well in terms of my size and my weight.
Yes. So prior to interviewing you, I interviewed Tess Kent, and it was funny because she said what got her into jiu-jitsu was your husband telling her that his wife was such a badass, she could beat him up. And Tess was like, wait a minute, this is this giant guy, and he's got this like tiny little wife.
That's funny. Oh my God, the sharing that this person did is amazing because she came through a retreat, which is amazing that we do once a year. And Mark was there. He's actually, like, I would say, obviously, he doesn't have the belt, but I would say his level is pretty much around blue to purple belt because he's got a really good techniques. But of course, you got through the guidelines of a gym, so you need to kind of follow that. But yeah, I love training in terms of, like, it doesn't matter the size or the weight as long as you apply the techniques. It's amazing. Like, it's just mind-blowing for me. That is why I'm hooked. I'm still hooked with jiu-jitsu.
Yes, that's I think what continues to get me hooked is watching women that are like purple, brown, black belts just control other people without having to be super aggressive or use a lot of strength. They are completely in control, and my goal is to get there.
Me too. Continue.
So how long have you been training jiu-jitsu?
So it's been on and off. So I would say over 10 years. My first experience with jiu-jitsu was that time when my daughter was like 3 years old. Now she's like 12, which is crazy because I was, on and off. Maybe I'm really bad with numbers, so I don't remember the time, but it was pretty much that time. And I remember when Mark, my husband, he took me to one of these self-defense on a Sunday, and it was a girl from Brazil, and we were really good friends to each other. And she was showing me something about choking somebody, just grabbing the neck, and I just looked at it and I just said, this is something weird. I don't think I would like to do this anymore. And thank you so much. I'm out. So that was my first impression. I was not really keen to choke somebody, like just like that. It was just a bit weird. And then I think time passed a few months after. Something happened with we had we always talk with Mark about, what if something happened in the city center. At that time, we were living in the capital of Scotland, which is Edinburgh. And there's so much wildness. As you know, every city center is always wild. And Luna was very small and, was using the baggie, and memories came when I was in the bus a few times, and with the buggy, and Luna was crying, and there was a guy who had some mental issues that was just shouting at me because I was just trying to calm her. She didn't want to stay in the buggy while the bus was moving. So that was my first like anger, and I just kind of felt like wanted to like, who are you to talk to me like that, because the guy didn't want me to kiss my child. So I felt really annoyed. And a few occasions happens like that, and Mark just reframed me saying like, why don't you try first? Like, the first impression, of course, it doesn't matter, because jiu-jitsu is something that could really change your life in many ways, like self-defense. You will see different sizes, different weights, and you still can learn so much to defend yourself. And this is one of the reasons why you wanted always to find something that fits you. Why don't you give it another chance?
Hmm.
Those thoughts, like, I went with that other mentality. And that day I actually met the coach itself. Was his wife at that time, was his wife. And the coach, a Scottish guy who trained a lot in Brazil, and he opened his own gym. So he was really cool. I think I really loved the way that he was teaching. It was incredible. It was just simple, but like basic. I didn't need to see anything about shocking, straightforward. It was just about the techniques and the movement. And I really like, because my body was always flexible. So, and I really enjoy looking others doing such a level of flexibility and
Hmm.
spinning and things like that. Was like, yes, I'm gonna go for it. And since that time, I just start feeling something different. I was like, I should have just give it, put another angle and see how this is gonna work. And then eventually I start feeling like I like it. I really like it. And yeah, that was me non-stopping, like probably almost 7 days a week. I was training and taking my child with me, and Mark John as well. Like, it was incredible how jiu-jitsu was just incredible. Like, somebody just teaching you something really nice, like the methodology that was teaching you was like really nice, cool to just flow. And then eventually you feel like, yeah, I want to train on the daily basis.
Yeah. Would you say your first class is what got you hooked or what got you hooked?
I think depend who's the person that's teaching you as well, like how much they use, the methodology that they use, the most important things that you like. The guy was saying all the time about whether you compete or not. It's all about how much can you put into self-defense yourself anytime that you go. And that was like, okay, I'm for that. Like, I'm game for this, but no for like competition, hardcore things. Of course, I had my time doing competition as well locally, which was really nice. It put me to step into my comfort zone. Then I think I make it. I make it. And my children came with me. They saw me when I was defeated the first time, and they saw me when I got double gold and the other times. And like, this is how I wanted, like, I wanted them to see like I'm able to do things and they can do it as well. There's no obligation whatsoever. It's just to support. And this is what I enjoy most.
Yes, I think there's such a component to parents training, especially women, the example they're setting for their kids in terms of, being able to defend yourself, being able to be tough, but then also showing like, even when you're a parent and your kids are a huge priority, your life still matters and is still important. I see that a lot with mothers. I compete against a lot of mothers. I don't have children myself, but I just love the example it sets for their children.
Yeah, totally. I think it's a nice way to show them whether they like it or not. The sport, they can see the bigger picture, which is about supporting and making you feel like they are there for you, and that makes you feel really good. Honestly, I really love that.
Have your children, do they train? Have they tried it?
So my daughter, she now she trains once a week. Although we just moved in last year, but actually settled from January this year. So we moved from the capital to the west of Scotland, which is almost 2 hours. So we found a really beautiful gym, the unit, and I love it because it feels more community as well. Small people, but amazing, amazing, well-known people. Like honestly, I really like the way that they want to support me first, because I don't have my driving license yet. I know how to drive, but in the UK, you need to have your driving license to drive.
Yeah.
So I'm on that stage right now, and sometimes when I'm like struggling to go, people, I send a message in the group and say, hey, somebody can give me a lift, and it's like, hey, I'm coming through, so get ready. And that's just how I really enjoy. It's like the level of community that sometimes you really miss in a group. And mainly I had a really good experience with boys, which is interesting. I don't know how, normally it should be girls, but it's like, I don't know, I have this kind of wildness of when I like to roll with men, boys, depending of the age and weight. Mostly when they are like blue belts over, they really understand the meaning of awareness of pressure and
Mhm.
this kind of thing, or the attitude of ego that sometimes comes through. But I really enjoy mainly because they have a lot of patience, and they really want you to improve your techniques rather than smashing you on the floor and not letting you move and things like that.
That's such a thing with training with men, is finding the male partners that understand that it's more about everybody getting something from the role, and they will get something from not just smashing you. Rather than just winning the role. Definitely, there's the men at my gym that I know train like that, and so they're like the only ones I will train with.
Yes. Oh, but don't get me wrong. I experience with others, which I am kind of straightforward with this kind of thing. Like I say, hey, maybe you have to ease off a bit. Nobody's seeing you what you're doing, but come on. I'm 50 kilos. You are 85. That's the big difference. So, come on. And then they just laugh, and yeah, kind of people, I always try to be not bossy, but trying to put them in their side and say, like, this is how you have to be very careful, because obviously I want to continue training. I don't want to be crushed by someone just trying to pretend that they're doing great for squishing someone that's lower weight. But generally I have to make choices when I'm rolling with someone. Mainly it's me that ask for some reason. I always like, I don't know if this is something South American, but I always like to kind of ask people like their high levels, and then roll with them, and they're really cool. They're really cool, and I'm always aware from those who are not really.
Yes, that's so important. And something you touched on earlier about what got you hooked was the type of instructor and how they teach. And I think that does raise a really important point of instructors all have different styles in terms of what they teach, how they teach it, and how they talk to their students. And it's really important to find the gym and the instructor that works for you. So what was it about the instructors that you found their teaching style meshed with what you were looking for?
Think is the style, like he
Mhm.
always went to the foundation, like always went to the main thing about how to scape, hip scape, and how to work properly on the floor when you are there, rather than just doing all these fancy moves all the time. People like a lot of fancy moves, but he was always into that main foundation as well. How to you take down, how to work on the leg locks carefully, but mainly work with your guard and my strength as well. He was looking always with what is good for me, like what's my strength, how can I work through it, how can I put it as a as a possibility that I can actually win a game, rather than just learning so many things, because obviously jiu-jitsu is very vast and you can go through many different reasons, but based on my size and on my weight, how can I make it better? And I like to put open guard. For me is one of the biggest things that I've been doing it. I like leg locks in some way, because that really, like, it's an emergency when someone is just battering you, and then you're really like, okay, I'm going through it, and then that works really well. So I really like the way that he creates a very solid foundation. That
Mhm.
was my main thing, because from there I managed to do a lot of work, like really strong base for me.
So, yeah, I think fundamentals and foundation is incredibly important, because if you're just starting with the fancy, difficult techniques, but you don't have, like, those techniques are rooted in the foundations. And if you don't have that, you're not going to execute them right. And they're just built on shaky ground at that point.
Yeah.
And the other part of it I'm hearing is, yeah, professor that, is helping you become, like, tailor your game and your practice based on your strengths. It's
That's right.
really easy to teach what works for you. It's harder to look at your students and look at where they're coming from and help them find what works for them. I think that is a really important quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And also kind of, I really love this first gym in a way that I could mix with others, mainly men for some reason. There were not many women at that time as well. The
Yeah.
men were there, and they were like Polish, they were Chinese, Africans, and like I felt like they have their own game, and I really enjoy. So the things that I was good at, I could just like I felt I could complement with what they're doing because it's the same game that I was doing it. So this is what I felt like kind of community jiu-jitsu there. And yeah, the fact that they were open to practice with me as well was really good because there are, I was still trying to adapt to that culture of like boys talk to boys, and that's just how it works, and and then I come, I'm smiling, I'm making jokes, and then it's like, okay, she's cool, let's just keep training. So I'm not the same kind of, I guess, let's say, I don't have the same way that others interact, but I really enjoy my way that I do because this is how it works. And this is how I
Mhm.
create a lot of friendship as well when I was training with them.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the community side of it and the friendships are so important. Both, yeah, like both male friendships, female friendships. I mean, it definitely, I feel like the guys I train with are like my brothers.
Yeah. Yeah, totally. But when I stay in that place, I think because I moved to different gyms, I had to. It was just COVID time, and I went to Peru. We tried to immigrate to Peru for at least a year. It was just COVID time as well, and I didn't find out. I just like on the second month, I found out I was pregnant. I had no idea that I was with my son, and I was
Uh-huh.
just rolling so hard. I was just having lots of cider. I remember that I was absolutely on my best stage. I had no idea. I completely forgot about counting my cycles. So I was just the thing when I was rolling, and everybody was saying like, "Oh, Erika, you are very hyper today. Like you're really hyper," and everything was like, "Ooh," you know.
Hmm.
I really like so hyper and so excited for training. It was just after the second month that I think my in-law, I was very agitated with my in-law for some reason, and she said, "Oh, you never shouted at me. What's
Hmm.
wrong with you?" And then I just and I checked, was like double confirmation that you're pregnant. So that was a big thing, and I need to let my coach know and everybody, just kind of ease off with training, which is some moment where I was very emotional because I just didn't want to leave training, but also, yeah, being aware of that is important.
Yeah. So did you continue training, just modifying, or did you step away?
The first 4 months, I was training because in COVID time in Scotland, you were not allowed to meet anybody, so you were kind
Yeah.
of isolated in your own place. So I was rolling with my husband. We were doing like a mats on the sitting room and doing. We had some pole as well, so it was just crazy. We're just trying to train and still enjoying it. But then after the fourth month, my body felt really, really like went different directions. It was just like tired, really, really
Yeah.
tired, and yeah, it was just not easy. But just through that moment, I was qualifying myself to yoga teacher. So instead of doing jujitsu, I kind of changed to teach online yoga for moms, and that really fits well because that helped me a lot to maintain my body, the movement, be more gentle with myself, practice more mindfulness and things that could help so much to relax my body. So yeah, that was the journey that I had with my child that I can't believe I was still rolling for 2 months.
That's amazing. And I'm glad that you were able to find something to keep you active and stimulated. And I do think yoga and jujitsu complement each other very well.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, at the time that I was studying before I qualified, I was teaching yoga on the gym in the morning, and people were feeling it, like working with the hips. It was incredible. Like the hips is a big thing. Like people don't even can't even bend and touch their toes because they cannot flex like that. So yoga really helped a lot to implement a lot of flexibility in the hips, in the arms. So there was a lot of practices that I was offering over there in the community, which I really loved it.
Yes, my coach has told me go to hot yoga because it'll help with your breathing. So there's the hip mobility, but yeah, the breathing too.
I've been there, yeah, 90 minutes. Oh my God, you end up like fully, like boiling body, but it's the best practice as well. I love hot yoga.
Yeah, I just like, I love it when I do just a non heated yoga practice. It does take longer. Like, your muscles don't want to move as much. It takes longer to like warm them up versus when the room is heated.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
So you mentioned moving from Edinburgh to 2 hours away. How did you go about finding and selecting a new gym?
Yeah, so what I didn't mention was, so after COVID and everything, I had my son, and then I went back to the gym where I was just for a few months, returning, and and obviously I didn't notice. Obviously, after having second children, it's not the same like having the first, because there were like 7 hours difference, 7 years of difference, and it took me a lot. I was actually taking the bus, local buses, two buses, and it took me an hour to get there, another hour to come back. So it was not sustainable for me. And so I had to change to another one that was actually close, like 7 minutes walking by. So I moved to another one. He understood, but there was that kind of feeling like you're leaving your home because you were there for so long. And then it was quite emotional, but I had to take it because I needed to, work with my time management, and especially with having two children and school and looking after them and stuff. So I moved there, and then I stayed for 2 years and a half in the gym, the previous gym in Edinburgh as well. And yeah, from there I was just almost finishing to get my purple belt, and the decision to make was really painful because we bought our first home to go to the west of Scotland. And that was really a really painful decision, just to approach my coach and say, hey, I have to leave in like 3 weeks. So he was really, he was like, oh, that's so sad. This is going to be tough, but I know this is what you need. And yeah, it took me time to really, I never felt really like, I was so emotional just to leave. I don't know why. Maybe I'm kind of a weird person in a way that when you are stuck with something and you don't want to leave it, and you just take you so much emotionally. So I was trying to leave. And then when we moved, and that was October last year. But then we have to go to Peru for retreats, because we do every year different holistic retreats. And then we basically, literally, we felt landing to this new space January when we came back from Peru. So this is why I feels like January actually we moved here. And then from there, we got friends, connection, and they say, oh, there's a gym here, you can go. It's just 25 minutes walking. It's not that bad. And I met the coach, John from the unit. It's amazing, these guys. His son does MMA, and a really bunch of good people over there, more boys as usual. There's a girl who's brown belt, which is amazing. So I felt really like welcome, because I was a bit emotional telling them like, this is what happened over there. It's like, oh, come on, let's do this. And they start putting me to roll with others like my size or my weight. That was fun. That was really fun. So I rolled with his son the first night that I came there, and it was great, man. Absolutely love that. And I said I would love to continue. It's just because right now, currently, I'm looking to practice my driving lesson. So I'm having some time off, but I don't want to miss the Sundays open mat. So I kind of continue practicing what I already got.
Yes, yes. You're like at the maintenance level until you have time to go back fully.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
just been feel.
That's awesome. I think so much goes into a gym with how they greet new members, and that welcoming feeling is so important.
Yes, I mean, I was very lucky to have, a good gym in a way that they care for you. At the second gym, I didn't feel the same because they thought about a lot of competition, even though they said it's not important, but I feel like there was a need for a competition in a way, which I did at some point, but I wanted to focus more into my business, and because I was putting so much for you, like I was putting so much, and I thought I need to really like step back and think the bigger picture of everything right now. Like, we want to move, we need to make action here. So I start kind of focusing on my work and my business with my husband. And then of course I was reducing my times and days training, so I could see a lot of groups, preparing for their competition and things like that. So I need to put priority for myself. So then in this new gym, it feels different because they are more into MMA. There are really good fighters that they do like high levels, quite similar like UFC or something like that, but a level of young age. And it's incredible because they are practicing, with everyone simply like humble. Like they're so humble. They come, they smile, they do the thing, and then they just keep training with others. And that's the beauty of it. They have another gym beside it where they do more like hardcore of MMA preparation, things like that. So I feel like, yeah, I found a really good space there. I really hope I can I can back training fully. But right now, I'm kind of, yeah, doing my best, putting my priorities first, and then continue, training.
Yes, and I think you touched on something there too with like your second gym. I had an experience where I went to a seminar at another gym where I am a couple of weeks ago, and it's a very competitive gym, one of the most competitive gyms in San Diego. It was a good experience. I enjoyed the seminar. Everyone was very nice, but I felt that vibe of the fact that this is like a very hardcore competitive gym, and there's nothing wrong with that vibe. It's just not my vibe. And it sounds like that was similar for you with your second gym. There's people who want that, and that environment is great for them. And I compete, it's not my whole life. And so
Yes.
I think knowing that about yourself and knowing that about the community you seek is so important.
Yeah, it's so important. The good thing about it in the second gym is like we had lots of women there, which was awesome. We had like more than
Awesome.
10 girls. Some of them really didn't like, I don't think they didn't really wanted to focus on the practice or rolling, but they want to have this level of friendship, which is really nice. It's really nice. But others, they were really like focusing on like competing and learning more. And I love, both sides, because I think it made a really nice friendship. Like we could just roll on a Sunday, and then after that we go for a cold dip and then go for a lunch. This kind of thing was really fun. I really enjoyed that. I still miss them. um, I'm not really active on WhatsApp in the group, but they still have me there, which is nice. And anytime I pop to Edinburgh, and I will send a message to say, "Hey, are you up?" And then they say, "Okay, let's go and let's do something." So that's really nice. There's something
Yeah.
always that you can kind of take it whenever you need it, when you move to another house.
Yes, and I think maintaining those connections and having those friendships is one of the things I really love about jujitsu. So you
Totally.
mentioned that you do holistic retreats in Peru. I would love to hear more about that.
Yeah, this is one of the things that I kind of feel a bit awkward to share with jiu-jitsu, when since the time I moved to from the first to the second, and well, the third one, this one, they are actually more open than others. So
Yeah.
sometimes you have to get it on, because obviously people have this mentality of just jiu-jitsu all the time. They want to talk about jiu-jitsu techniques and everything. But I'm not the person that like to open it, other topics. So I made a really good friendship sharing this. So I do cacao ceremonies, and I believe cacao has been now being applied for many jiu-jitsu retreats itself.
Mm-hmm.
Many people have been doing a lot of kind of invitation to have cacao and yoga and practices, and then jiu-jitsu practices and stuff like that. So I love doing what I do now, which is cacao retreats, and also psychedelic medicine that is based in Peru. We invite people to come over to take plant medicines that's from Peru, or
Mm-hmm.
South America itself, and they can have this experience of connecting with themselves and having a lot of processes that they went through, trauma, childhood, relationships that they are not able to cope, and things like that sometimes doesn't help them to to go through, to move forward. And interesting enough, a few people that you met, they went to that retreat, and they
Yes.
incredible. Like we had no intention to give any sort of expectations to what they want. But one of them, I just found out that she's two of them actually. One of them is now a purple belt, and the other one that you did as well, she's a purple belt. But these people were like normal people coming to a retreat. We share what we have, we share what we do, and if they feel the vibe, they say, "Okay, I'm going to give it a try," and then they're hooked. It's amazing. Oh, we are so happy for this, because what we want, the main ultimately what we want for everyone is just to find their own happiness. Something that really is connected with themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I can believe that jiu-jitsu has take me to in terms of practices. I love training jiu-jitsu, But also, I love what I do in my own work. I love doing retreats. I love connecting with people and help them in any way that they could have or need, and showing the culture of Peru as well, and create a really nice level of friendship. That's very important for us.
Yes, that's so beautiful, and it's cool to see that intersection. Jiu-jitsu might be different from the in theory from the retreats that you do, but at the same time it might be like people with a similar personality type are drawn to, because it is about opening your mind, being vulnerable, going outside of your comfort zone.
Totally. Totally. That's literally what happens. And if people feel ready, oh, it could give you a massive boost in your life that you have no idea how it could change your life in better ways, even helping you to make decisions. So we've done this one for over 15 years and we're fully committed. And I think the time that I was kind of dragged into jiu-jitsu was the time when I said, oh, I need balance here because I'm like so much in love with something. Like when you love something and you just want to go through it and you get
Oh yeah.
drawn to it. So I just had to, like, my husband was like putting me back, say, hey, just remember that we have a business as well. So we need to focus on here. So this is when I start bringing more like a level of kind of responsibility and organization about what's important as well for us, and work as a team, which is really important. So yeah, things so now right now we are very excited, and all the things that we do and the freedom that we have to be able to travel to South America and then come back and stay in Scotland, visit a few friends, going to different countries as well to bring this level of medicine that we bring, especially cacao. And yeah, connecting with people is the most important thing for us.
Yes, and that's so beautiful. You kind of have my dream life in getting to be in Scotland, but then also in Peru. There's certain places in the world that I really love that I would love to. Unfortunately, I don't have the type of job that would allow me to do this, but be able to split time between the places that you love is such a beautiful thing, and being able to travel.
Totally. I love, yes. I think before we had children, we were always in love. Mark, John, and I, we always in love to travel the world. That's just what we wanted. But the universe give us another things, which is nice. It's a great gift. But
Yes.
there's nothing difficult for a person that we can do what we feel called if we are willing to make it happen. So yeah.
Yeah. Tell me more about the cacao. I'm not familiar with I've heard of it, but I'm not familiar with how it works.
Okay, cacao is more known as a hot chocolate. People
Mm-hmm.
might know, like, oh, it's hot chocolate. It's hot and delicious, um, and sugary. But this one is a pure cacao that comes from the mountains of Peru, and it has been a big connection from my own childhood. Well, actually, one of the things that I was a bit kind of hiding through the first 10 years being in Scotland was to not show my identity. Show where I was coming from and feeling proud where I'm from. I had a big lack of confidence before because the language barriers, the culture barriers that I had. It took me time for me to adapt, and also for immigration reasons, I had to work really hard to make my life easier and have that level of freedom to,
Mm-hmm.
just not be an immigrant, but actually to get my citizenship. That really crashed me down a lot. So when I finally started like building up again my foundation of who I was from, plant medicine helped me a lot. And one of the things that brought me back again was one time when my mom passed away. Over 12 years she passed away, and that was the biggest lessons, I believe. And I couldn't forgive myself at that time that I wasn't able to see her because I was
Mm-hmm.
here trying to stay, because if I could go I could break the rules and things like that. It was ridiculous. So I had to just kind of send some financial support, and my family was there. And I had 3 months of depression, which was really hard for me. So my husband helped me to have some plant medicine to help me to kind of find ways that how can I just ease and forgive myself for what I couldn't be able to make it, to come and be in person with her to say goodbye. So through that dream of the psychedelic experience, that let's say it, I had a vivid dream about the medicine of cacao. The medicine itself, call it spirit, call it whatever you feel, but that medicine spoke to me, and I felt the energy of my mom. And she said to me, you need to stop blaming yourself. I already I'm already free of pain. There's nothing that you need to feel bad about it right now. Your life is starting right now and you need to move forward. and that was one of the emotional moments that I had. And it was tough because, and the moment that I had her there, I didn't want to leave her, of course.
Yeah.
And the medicine was telling me like, this is what you always had it, but you just don't want to move forward. You don't want to show to the world because you're scared, and that's fine. But this is now your time to move forward. So
Mhm.
stop this and keep moving, please keep moving. And then it was showing me like an image about my mom giving birth to me, and I saw cacao because my grandmother was my midwife. She was the one that delivered me when my mom was giving
Mhm.
birth. So I understood that cacao was part of me since my mom was pregnant with me. And all of this information, I have no idea like how it came from. And this is the beauty of it. So literally when I finished this message that I had to call my dad and just say, hey, I just want to know some things. And he all confirmed, like he said, like he had to go to the jungle to get cacao because my mom was craving with cacao, and my grandma was there because he was working, so it was just her and that received me because she is a doula. And it was just incredible, like all the things that the medicine just gave me, this information was through it, and it was true. So I decided that rather than just blaming myself, I needed to do kind of a level of ceremony to forgive myself and move forward. So I decided to create gatherings with cacao and supporting my indigenous people that makes cacao. And
Mhm.
as an organic, it started, it becomes just like South American moms that we were doing cacao ceremonies once a month. And then start coming all Scottish women and all, they start becoming a beautiful mixed gender, and everything started from zero. And now we have beautiful like 20, 30 people, in once a month that we do cacao ceremonies together. We invite them to really soothe their life and just ease off with everything that we go through, and invite them to really go deep into a level of relaxations and appreciation in everything that they go through. So for me, it has been like a gift that maybe I was not ready before, but I feel like now is my time to share to the world. And why not? And if that could be contributed to any other practices like jiu-jitsu, let's say, why not to implement it, that because cacao has a lot of proteins, and vitamins that helps your body. And this is one of the biggest gifts I feel truly grateful that my family comes from.
That's so beautiful and so powerful. It it brought me back to just thinking about losing family members myself, and um, like visions I've had in dreams without cacao. So I'm like, oh, this sounds interesting. I'm gonna have to dive deeper into this. I didn't realize that they were utilizing it on some jujitsu retreats. What do you think are some of the benefits of cacao and plant medicine for someone's jujitsu practice?
If cacao gives you a level of connection with your body. So when I roll, I feel like my ego drops a lot because we all have egos at some point, but my ego drops and I feel like I really want to practice in this level of connection with my body and flowing, and no coming from that area of like fighting and aggression, but more like how can I flow with this energy that I have. I feel cacao is one of those things that could really calm your mind to think so much. Sometimes I feel like we think so much strategies that sometimes it's already over because you're already on the mat and everything's gone. But it really comes as giving me a level of trust and calm and fluidity with everything that I do. I believe that this is one of the reasons that a few places that I've seen, one of my friends, the second gym, the girls went to Mallorca, if I'm not mistaken. They went to Spain and they had cacao, and they sent me a message say, hey, before the jiu-jitsu class, the 3 days here, I thought of you because they were offering cacao, and I thought, oh, Erika should have been here. So
Yes.
wow, that's amazing because they're applying cacao for these kind of things, which is amazing. I mean, many people have tried many plant medicine, right? And I think as long as it's helping them in some way to improve their well-being, why not?
Yes, and that's such a cool synergy, you know, of two major influences in your life. I wonder I wonder if there's anything there in the future for you and your husband in terms of jujitsu
Oh,
and cacao.
Yes, that would be amazing. I mean, this third gym, they love stuff, they plan themselves, and it's amazing like to hear their experience, and they accept us who we are, and they accept how we are, and makes me feel really good because we don't want to hide anything, we want to feel accepted the way that we are. And
Mm-hmm.
we might not be like world champions or whatever, but we love what we have. And if people feel the same, how cool is that? Like just to kind of enjoy what we're doing and have some fun and be nutritious as well, because cacao is something very nutritious that I found out that has a lot to give to your body, especially for women. Um, we go through different processes, hormones and transitions. And I feel like cacao has given a lot of boost to many women. So yeah, I won't change it for sure.
That's awesome. That's so fascinating. What do you love most about jujitsu?
That's a really good question. What do I most want? Oh my goodness. It's just very difficult to say in one word, but if I was meant to say what I love about Jiu-Jitsu, I think it's the level of connection that you have with many of them. Like you can share your knowledge and others. You might not speak the same like myself, the language that they speak about the codes and everything, but see, when you do on the floor, that's when you show the work that you do. And it doesn't matter sometimes that you don't remember the words, but you are really on it, and people can appreciate that. And I love that, the level of connection that we have with a few women that I still, my best friends, because BJJ has brought me a really good friends, one from Portugal, Clara, which I love her so much. And she's been there since the time that we met, and we're still friends. Like we're far away but we're still friends. She comes to my home, I come to her home. She's incredible. We did competition together, we won together, and we were on that, we were on tears, we were crying. It was incredible. I love that kind of level of connection. And I know there are different things in every gym, but I think I really put my boundaries very strong, who I am, and I don't feel scared anymore on anything to say.
What would you say challenges you most about jujitsu?
And the challenges is how do you say? I say in Spanish, machismo, which is
Oh,
a word is
yeah.
like male attitude. See that male attitude? I was one of these, like, don't get me wrong, I was the most, when I was in Peru, many people would say, oh, women's are not like, they're so weak, they do that. It really pisses me off when I go, because when I go jiu-jitsu and I see the attitude of boys doing like that, sometimes I feel really angry with them and just kind of trying to say things in my way while we're rolling, because that really disconnect us, and that's just ridiculous. But I really don't like that attitude of like males, they're the best and things like that. Because there is quite a few gyms that I went as well for seminars and things. You can see the attitude, like they don't have such a respect to other women, even though whatever they are different levels. And I really, yeah, sometimes I really maybe speak too much with them, but that's just me. Like this is my personality. I don't like to change any bit. I don't like that kind of attitude when I see that, because I could be straightforward to tell them.
Yeah, no, I think machismo is the perfect word for it. And I'm like, that is spot on. I feel like some men come into a class, and I've seen it more on the nogi side of things.
Yes.
They come in and they're not there for self improvement. They're not there to be technical. They're there to boost their own egos. It's really it's sad because like I'll train nogi in environments with people who are curious and who are learning, and I have so much fun when I do that. But when I'm in that other environment with the machismo, I don't enjoy it at all. I feel like I'm trying just to survive and not blow my knee out.
Yes. My God. Yes, I have to step back and literally don't roll with that people, because I can't deal with them. I can't.
Yeah. Yeah, because it also then you get angry because you're like, you're not beating me because you're better than me. You're beating me because you're muscling me. But if you start matching their aggression, it's just going to get dangerous.
That's it. That's it. And it's ridiculous to go in that game, because you are entering into their game, which is what they want. So we need to be more intelligent and just saying, hey, I'm not in your game. And that's it. Like, you do what you need to do, blow any other knees that you want, but I'm not in that game. So I just let their ego be flying around, but not to me.
That's just let their ego be flying around, but not to me. I'm going to internalize that one and tell myself that when I think I'm just stubborn. I'm half Italian, and that side of me has a temper. And and it's probably a little passionate and a little angry and like, you know, quick to like fly off the handle, and sometimes that gets triggered, so I need to yeah.
We all got that. I know that.
Yes, I need to tell myself that when the angry Italian in me gets triggered.
Wow. Yes.
Okay. So my final question that I ask everyone is, what advice would you give to someone going into their very first jiu-jitsu class?
Oh, that is easy. Just be open mind. I think my experience, I the first time I was not open mind. I was a bit kind of aware of everything and wary with things. But I think it's good to be open mind because you never know. Sometimes you might have a different attitude or thoughts. Better not prepare your mind, but just be open and no expectations. So you
Mhm.
never know how you end up. You might hate it, you might love it. That's what happened to me. So yeah, that would be my advice, I guess.
That's a good one. Eric, thank you so much for talking with me and working with the time zone difference. It was really cool to hear about your jiu-jitsu experiences, the plant medicine. I think that's such a cool combo.
Thank you so much, Laura. Thank you for the invitation and for making it happen. All the best for you. And I hope to meet you at some point. Who knows?
Yeah, I hope so too.